Alright, so this is just the introduction. It isn't really for anybody. I play Guardians of Middle-earth. It's a MOBA. It's an old one. We're trying to revive it. It's you can get it on Steam, or you go to the Guardians of Middle-earth Discord page, and there's all the information there if you want to pick it up. It's a brilliant game. It was totally under the radar. The developers kind of left it hanging because they went off to do the Shadow of Mordor, or that series of games, and so they just basically left this game in the dust. And this was right when all those MOBAs were coming out, right before Smite, and it was right in this pocket in between the movies. It was supposed to coincide with the movie, the Hobbit trilogy, and but it came out like earlier than that, and so it was like it just missed. But it's such an awesome game. I can't even describe it. I've tried the other MOBAs. I just don't like them. The graphics are better in this game than half these new MOBAs that are coming out today. The mechanics are great. There's some stuff that's messed up. It gets frustrating. But if you're wanting to learn a fun MOBA, it's still out there. And we get together once or twice a week, generally on Thursdays. Occasionally we get a good random games in other days of the week, but you just got to check it out. And it's sad that it died, but it's living today. It was dead for like 6 years, maybe 5 years, and then a group of guys brought it back to life. Barely, but it's a totally underrated game. Went under the radar. Like it's just sad. And we're looking for someone who could come in, fix some of the issues with it, add some more characters or whatever, and just mod the game and make it something. Maybe force the developers to be like, oh, I think we kind of messed up there. And because it's better than these other MOBAs. It just is. I'd be here all day explaining. But anyways, we're going to get into this game, which is Third Age Total War Divide and Conquer. It's a mod for Medieval 2 Total War. If you like Civilization, this is Civilization on steroids with in-game battles. You build your cities up, you take over cities just like in Civilization. So it's got that slight RTS element to it, but there's more city management and it matters more. The games are long. It's not an easy game, but it's a fun game. So this is just going to be the basic introduction to it, because a lot of people know and heard of Total War games, but they don't hear about some of the mods which make some of these base games way better. And this is a Lord of the Rings one, so I'm excited about it. This is version 4.5. I didn't even know there was like a version 4.0. I had like 3.7 version or something. So there's been updates, and I don't know what they are. Maybe some more cities. Maybe they made a map slightly bigger. Improved characters, or working out some of the issues. Because in the last version, you'd play the dwarves, and sometimes in the middle of this long ass campaign where you got like 20 hours into it, it just crashes and you can't advance, and it sucks. This game takes a lot of brain power. Doesn't mean if you're dumb you can't play this game. What it means is like you're constantly just thinking. So how you want to approach war. I mean, sending out spies. There's so many different ways to win at this game. So playing I just started another one, but I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do this on TV. So you do the War of the Ring. These are all your factions. Now I do know that this used to be 2 factions, but they put it together, which makes more sense. So it dropped 1 faction from it, but you know, look at all these. We'll just start here. Woodland Realm, Thranduil. Sorry, Thranduil. Jeez, I'm saying that weird. Legolas. And this game I find is the most accurate video game, or just media in general. This is including movies. It's just the most accurate, true to the book game out there. I mean, you know, there's so much liberty taken with the movies, but other than the books, obviously. But it's there's so much script in it to read if you like reading the books. Like, you know, every faction has a brief summary of, you know, just a little bit of lore, what time period, you know, just basically keeping you up to date. So it's like reading the books while playing the game, for the most part. Obviously, there's different military units with each one, and it's you know, it's the regular base game on steroids. Much more diversity. You get your rare units info, special features. Don't know what Yavanna's Union is. It's probably a script or an event that happens within the game. Just more information. You know, notable units. Ooh, Ents. Oh yeah, because they're right next to what's it? Damn, what the hell is it called? This forest here, Fanghorn. There's Burkwood, obviously, Mordor. I mean, that's, the map is huge. It dwarfs the original. So we got so that's Lothlorien. This is Galadriel's husband, Celeborn. Isengard. The Orcs of Gundabad. They pretty much rule this area. Angmar. Danny, if you're listening, this is your faction. There's your boy, Agendaur. If you don't know, this is a character on Guardians of Middle-earth that is a pain in the ass. He's real squishy, but he does so much damage output. So yeah, this might be your faction. You get to beat up on the Dunedain. Strong faction. Strong units, but very poor. Yeah, slow recruitment. Their rangers or their archers are really good. Probably the second best next to Dale. And, you know, any of the elves. So yeah, the High Elves. Lord Elrond, dope ass character. He just might have the strongest bodyguard unit other than Sauron, and maybe Witch King's unit is pretty tough. Notable units. Alright, so Olagai, Great Beasts. I can't remember what those are. Yeah, so like early game Mordor. Some of these factions are harder to play than others. Doesn't seem to tell you that. Though I'm not sure if it ever did. Oh, yeah. On the vanilla version of this, it used to tell you if it was a difficult faction to play. So basically, back here is all Mordor allies. There's 3 different factions. 1, 2, 3, no, 4. And so you're immediately pressing on Rohan, Gondor, and Dol Amroth. So Gondor. These are like, this is kind of like, I guess, a vassal. I mean, it's a legit faction, but within the lore, I guess, from what I've read, you kind of have a vassalage to Gondor, kind of like a brotherhood bond. They're seafarers. There's very few factions. There's only like 1, 2, 3 truly seafaring factions, and seafaring isn't, it's not much of a part of this game, but it can be. But 90% of your game, if not more, is going to be just this massive landmass. I mean, it takes years within the books and this game, the way they got it all configured. It'll take years, many turns, 30 plus turns to get from here to there, and you get to a certain point, 30 plus turns, that could be 3-4 hours. But usually at that point, you've got so much going on, and you know, your time's being spent fighting wars and strategically planning approaches or building up armies, getting ready for a push. Yeah, the Dunedain, like I said, in the last versions of the game, this is a fun faction. This used to be Umbar, now there are Adunaim. Probably Adunaim. Or maybe Adunaim. That's probably more. Adunaim. These are seafarers. They're the black Numenorians. They were part of the rift from the Numenorians, which are basically Gondor, Dunedain. Yeah, I think it's more of Gondor. You have Middlemen, Northmen. All that stuff's in this game. And it matters when you're building cities, because if you don't have enough of what your faction is, then you can't build. You know, you take over a city and it's got middlemen, Northmen, elves, dwarves, goblins in it living within the city or whatever, certain factions, you have to get to a certain percent to build military units. Breland, another fun one. The hobbits, they're the best hobbit warriors are your average unit for pretty much any faction here. But they have a few good men units. They have a very good economy. So their military units aren't as good, but they have a very good economy. There's lots of independent cities and territories all around it for them to expand real fast and get even better economic dominance. So you'll just be pumping out tons of units, which is fun also. The elves have such a slow recruitment, but their units are really strong. And if you do a retraining, so, you know, every battle most battles your units will gain ranks, and they just get stronger and stronger. So you could go out there with one full stack army and destroy but if they're all, you know, silvers or gold echelon, then they can annihilate 10,000. You could have 1,000. You'd be able to annihilate 10,000, you know, soldiers easily with this unit, which is real easy to do if you play high elves and you just build up an army. It'll take a long time, but you'll build up an army that's just elite, and you'd pretty much be able to wreck any army, even Sauron's full stack unit when he finally comes in, if the game progresses long enough. Let's see here. Dunlendings. These are those dirty bastards who joined up with Saruman and Isengard in the movies and the books. They're bad guys. Beaded Waif. A minor faction, and not really talked about that much in the books, but, you know, more notably than, because there's a lot of kingdoms that are from the books that aren't even on here. They can only do so much at a time, you know, making this mod. The Haradrim. They are the guys with the Mumakil. So, yeah, and then there's the Varyogs of Khand. Now these guys are basically neutral at this point. This is where the Blue Wizards go. Well, they pretty much go everywhere over here. And but they're here, and there's an event that happens, I believe. And I'm thinking that it's whether they join up with the Free Peoples of Middle-earth versus Sauron's Dark Forces. So they could go either way, and in game you can play them. I believe you pick, if I remember right. It's been a while since I played this game, and things have been updated. Easterlings of Rune. Remember, these guys are a pain in the ass. There's a bunch of just empty land here to take. And they can get big real quick. And they have some very good units. The Dwarves! It's Balland from the books and movies. I do know that they don't start off with land. They basically take a bunch of churns, come down here, they try, and your goal is to take, Expedition to Moria. See, so this is information. I won't give up too much of the game for each faction, because there's a lot. So, and if you fail, then I think you gotta that's either it for this faction. So if you don't take it, then and you will be fighting the Balrog. So you got to come in strong. This is a fun faction to play. Dwarves of Erebor, Dwarves of Ered Luin. This faction, it takes the longest to get to Mordor. Very strong units, slow recruitment. Not as slow as the elves though. Dale, we already did Dale. Bang, that is, what is it, Bard's son? So, yeah. So that would be grandson. Rohan. I don't think I've actually ever played this faction. Vale of Dorwinion, the winemakers. Let me go back to Dale real quick. Something I forgot to. So with Dale, you can get dwarf units and elf units. Not all of them, but you can get like some of them, and so you have like a cool mixture of humans, elves, and dwarves within the army. So that's definitely a enticing factor when picking your factions. Rohan, Vale of Dorwinion. Here you can get help from the elves, because the elves like wine. Dorwinion supplies it. You're also getting, if you've seen Game of Thrones, there's going to be a bunch of stuff from here. You'd be like, oh, that was in Game of Thrones. It's like, well, yeah, because Game of Thrones took a lot of shit from Lord of the Rings. Even like names. Like Umbar. So this is basically what house is it? House Tyrell. The Anduin Vale. Oh, and there's, Vale, that's definitely in Game of Thrones also. Anduin Vale. So this is Bjorn from the books and the movies. Maybe in this one he's actually a bear. It'd be a beast of a unit. No pun intended. This is an interesting one because you have orcs all around you, and Dol Guldur right here. So you have Misty Mountain orcs, the orcs of Gundabad, and then Dol Guldur right there. The good thing about that is you have fairly close allies or potential allies within, the Woodland Realm, elves and dwarves of Erebor. They will be pushing this way south to reclaim their former land. So these are all the factions. Now, this game is not easy. It's hard, it's long, but to maintain even on easy difficulty, there's difficult moments. So to streamline the game for YouTube, I'm gonna just put it on easy, make the game go faster. yeah, and so then the next thing to do would be to pick a faction. So I'll end the first video here, and I will come back. We will select a faction.